picked up on these cameras.
Okay. So this is the humerus, and this is the head, the anatomical neck, the surgical neck. This is the greater tubercle, and this is the lesser tubercle. This is the deltoid tuberosity. This is the medial and lateral epicondyle. This is the trochlea knot, the trochlea, and the capitulium, the coronoid fossa, and the olecranon. The ulna, and this is the olecranon process, the trochlear notch, the radial notch, and the coronoid process. And we have the styloid process. The ulna, we have the head, the ulnar tuberosity, the radial, what is that? The radial tuberosity, the ulna notch, and the styloid process. Cristagalli, cribriform plate, and the perpendicular plate. We have the temporal bone, or the squamous region, the zygomatic process, the external acoustic meatus, the styloid process, and the internal acoustic meatus.
Oh, you did that? Yeah.
On your camera, though.
Okay.
Do you want it all in one?
This is the optic canal, and this is the lesser wing, the greater wing, the superior orbital fissure, the foramen rotundum, foramen ovale, foramen spinosum, and the sella turcica. We have the sphenoid sinus and the petragoid process. This is the pubic crest, pubic symphysis, the ischial tuberosity, the obturator, the acetabulum, the lesser sciatic notch, the ischial spine, the greater sciatic notch. These are the superior posterior iliac spine, and these are the iliac crest and the iliac fossa. And this right here is the superior anterior iliac spine. And this is the sacroiliac joint. And I think that's it for, the scrotum. This is the scrotum, and this is the coccyx.
That's the sacrum.
The sacrum, scrotum. Oh my gosh, that's on the penis. So this is the sacrum and the coccyx. Oh my gosh.
So, I'm recording.
So here we have a femur. On the femur, we have the head, the fovea capatis, the greater and lesser trochlea. Greater and lesser trochanter. Can we cut or something?
No, keep going.
Okay. This is the gluteal tuberosity, the lineal aspera, the intracondylar notch,
That's a fossa.
Or
fossa, intracondylar notch, fossa, intracondylar fossa,
You can use either or, I believe.
and is it the medial and lateral condyles?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Epicondyle.
And the epicondyles are on the side, medial and lateral epicondyles. Tibia, tibial tuberosity,
Condyles.
greater and lesser, medial and lateral,
Medial malleus.
medial malleolus, the fibula,
Head and lateral malleus.
the head, and the lateral malleolus. The hands, the carpals and metacarpals. On the foot, the talus and calcaneus. Tarsals, metatarsals. This is
The patella.
Patella.
This is the patella, the kneecap. This is the sternum, the body, the manubrium, and the xiphoid process. The scapula, the spine, supraspinoid fossa, infraspinoid fossa, the body, subscapula, the glenoid cavity, the acromion, and the coracoid process. The conoid process, and this is the clavicle. The conoid process, the sternal end, and the acromial end. Acromial end. Thoracic, the lamina, the sphenoid, transverse foramen, the superior articulating process, superior articulating fossa, does this have a
The body.
The body, does this have the pedicles?
Pedicles, yep.
The pedicles and the inferior articulating fossa. Inferior articulating fossa. This is a thoracic. This is the body. Oh, all of the vertebrae have the vertebral foramen. And this is the lamina, the pedicles. Oh, there's something on this that. This
That little.
yeah. What is it?
The costal facet on the thoracic.
The costal facet, and it's only on the thoracic vertebrae. And this is the lamina, the sphenoid. These are the superior articulating process, the superior articulating fossas, the transverse foramen. These are the pedicles, inferior articulating process.
Facet.
Process and facet. The body and the cervical. No. These are C1, C2, the atlas and the axis. The atlas is C1, and there is the superior articulating faucet, the transverse foramen. In here, the transverse foramen and the transverse process. The sphenoids, I'm assuming that's the lamina. Inferior articulating fossa. And this is C2, the axis, and the axis has the dens. The lamina, the sphenoids, the superior articulating fossa, the dens, the transverse foramen, the whole, and the transverse process. And this is the body and the inferior articulating fossa. That's the vertebrae. And this is the mandible. We have the coronoid process, the mandibular condyle, the mandibular angle. These holes are the medial foramen and the alveolar margin. This is the maxilla, and this is also the alveolar margin, the vomer, the perpendicular plate, the nasal bone, the infraorbital foramen, supraorbital notch. The side here is the lacrimal bone. These are the zygomatic bone and the zygomatic process. This is the mastoid process, the styloid process, the external acoustic meatus. Here we have the palatine plate. This is the jugulars, the occipital condyles, the foramen magnum. And
spinosum, because I know the smallest one is the.
ROS. Okay. So this part right here is the sphenoid bone, and in the sphenoid bone there's the optic canals. This is the lesser wing, the superior orbital fissure, the foramen lacerum, the foramen rotundum, the foramen ovale, and the foramen spinosum, the crista galli, the cribriform plate, the sella turcica, the internal acoustic meatus, the jugulars, the jugular foramen, and the foramen magnum. And this is the greater wing, the petrous region. Yep.